Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Profit Roadmap. We're your hosts, Ryan and Becca. This is the premier podcast created for field service pros to help you grow your business, stay on top of the latest trends, and help provide even more value to the communities that you serve. Today, we're excited to welcome Naylor. For those of you that don't yet know Naylor, he's been thriving in lawn care business, clean cut lawn care services. You might have heard of his successful YouTube channel, Lawn Care Rookie. And he's also the host of popular podcast LCR Media, which is dedicated to helping lawn care services grow. Naylor, will you share with us a little bit how to grow your business via social media and tell us a little bit about your story?
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you for having me on, and thank you for really pronouncing my name on point, because it's been one of those things that's always mispronounced, and I just get used to it, so I don't even bother correcting people. But
I'll be 100% honest. I skipped over your last name.
I was going to ask, how's your last name pronounced?
Yeah, let's get that out there. Yeah. How do you pronounce your last name?
It's Taliaferro.
Nice.
Naylor Taliaferro.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, but so Taliaferro.
Yeah, it's an awesome last name, though.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I would have butchered it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's all good. I mean, it's not even really. Most people just, say Lawn Care Rookie or LCR, or just my first name. My last name rarely comes into play unless they're really trying to be official, because it's probably, a mouthful. So yeah,
for sure, man. But, tell us a little bit about your background. How'd you get started in lawn care?
Yeah, well, so I mean, the short story of it all, because it's, this is a lifetime in the making, but I've been in lawn care full-time going on 9 years now, 10 years total, because I did 1 year part-time before that while I was working in retail management. So I worked in retail management for little over 15 years, several different companies, like large, big box stores type retailers. And the last one that I was at, I kind of somehow or another stumbled into the opportunity of getting into lawn care. Well, I was always the homeowner that loved lawns. I got my green thumb just from trying to figure it out my own yard and everything, just all the trial and error. I mean, and so that was prior to 10 years ago. It was probably 20 years ago when I was a first-time homeowner. So 20 years ago, there was no YouTube content creators. There was no Lawn Care Rookie. There was no all the content, insert your favorite content creator out there now and to come, or that has been and moved on to other things. None of those people were doing any of that. I mean, there was YouTube, but I don't even know what it was at that point. It was just random videos, or someone posted video and never go back on it. So if you comment, they're not going to respond. So it was a totally different vibe, and there wasn't a whole lot of internet anything. There's Facebook, but it was in its infancy and all that. There's Gopher software, like crazy old school stuff that most people don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. So I was just a homeowner, just figuring it out, going to Lowe's and Home Depot and all the big box stores and the little box stores, and finding little tools and gizmos and books on stuff on how to, different types of seed and all that stuff that now you can easily just Google, right? And just have endless amounts of information, which again, Google was a thing 20 years ago, but it wasn't what it is now.
It wasn't, right?
Yeah.
It's a wildly different ballgame.
Yes, it totally shifted. So, I mean, I was just the homeowner that figured it out the old fashioned way, and really got kind of obsessed with lawns. And the whole time I was in retail management, and, my life was going one way and retail was going another way. Amazon was taking over the world, and, slowly but surely, and e-commerce and everything. And all the big box stores were trying to keep up, and people, it became a very stressful environment in the brick and mortar stores, as we called it. And it always went down to the management, and then always trickled down to your staff. And so it got really stressful, working all the time. Thanksgiving, Black Friday became like Black Thursday, and you're working before I left it, 9 years ago, we had to work at we opened at 8 p.m. or 6 p.m. or something ridiculous on Thanksgiving. And I'm like, wow, this is terrible. So it was just a terrible trend, and my life was just not happy. Quality of life was awful. I just really needed to press the hard reset button. So I just kind of fell into, or leaned into, lawn care, because that's something that I really enjoyed. I kind of toyed around with the idea of starting my own business years prior to that, because I just really enjoyed it. But again, 20 years ago, there weren't guys there was no Chuck in the truck. There was no lawn mowing companies. There was no fertilization companies, other than maybe a True Green or something like that in its infancy. There was just big landscape companies. And if you wanted someone to do something, they had to do everything. And it was just kind of crazy, because it was a totally different dynamic now. Back then, 20 years ago, seems like a long time, but not a long time. it was frowned down upon if you had a landscape company. Ooh, you've got a landscape company taking care of your property. You know, they do everything: mow your lawn, trim your bushes, you know, fertilize, mulch, like anything and everything. You had to have the whole thing. And now it's like, why don't you have someone take care of your property, you know, or mowing your lawn, you know? But there was no specialization back then, so it was very intimidating to me to think about having to have this big landscape company that I knew nothing about. Yes, I knew about managing businesses, but not to that extent. I knew someone in my area that had a landscape company, and he had his house up on a big hill, all the property with all the different, you know, bulk like rocks and stones and dirt and mulch and all that kind of stuff. And it was just, it was very intimidating. I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. Massive trucks and trailers and all that. So I did toy around with the idea initially, but I wasn't really, you know, I didn't really pursue it. But my wife knew that I kind of thought about it and all that. So fast forward to 10 years ago, which was 10 years later from that, a lot had changed, and there was a lot of, you know, landscape or lawn care, like lawn mowing only companies, guys in a truck and a trailer with maybe one or two people with them. And it just really started specializing and niching out. So that's where the opportunity became more of like a possibility. And my wife was the one who saw something on Facebook in our neighborhood. Somebody was trying to, they were looking for someone to mow their lawn, and I was just, you know, she recommended me, and she asked me if she wanted to recommend me, if I wanted to give my information. I said sure, you know, why not really thinking too much of it, but I knew that I was in a bad place in retail and I wanted to change my life, you know, press the hard reset button like I said. And that's really what started the whole catalyst there. I still had my old 21-inch push mower and hand trimmer and blower from the homeowner days, because we had moved to Virginia from New York State down to Virginia at that point, and we had already been there for a few years. But I kept my stuff even though we were in a townhouse, because we were looking for a place to actually live in a house. We were just renting, so I held on to that stuff. My wife knew it. She knew that I liked it. She recommended me on Facebook, and the rest is history. Like, you know, I mowed like 5 or 6 lawns part-time for a year while working in retail management for like, you know, 5-6 days a week, 60 plus hours, just ridiculous. I'd, you know, pack up my stuff in the back of my Jeep Compass with a change of clothes, change in my office, sneak out the back, you know, hop in my Jeep and try and you know, bang out a yard or two before it got dark, you know, after like a 12-hour day or something epic. On my one day off, get the rest of them, you know, done. But I was living my best life though. When I was out there on the lawn, even though I was exhausted from the day, or on my day off and I got up and went and mowed like 4 or 5 yards, took me all day with a 21-inch mower for like 10,000 square foot yards. I was like, woo. But like, I was like, man, I could really make something out of this if I like went full time and went all in and got better equipment. I was really feeling like it was very therapeutic for me, and I was really feeling it. So I quit retail that winter and went full time into lawn care that coming spring, which is 2014, spring of 2014. And you fast forward to now, and you know, it's 10 years later. Technically, went from part time, but 9 years full time, and I haven't, you know, looked back since. And I've grown to I've had employees for probably 6-7 years now, I think. I haven't gotten to the second crew yet. That was always part of the plan. Like, I had a whole plan structured out in 5-year increments. You know, first 5 years, build everything behind the scenes, work on route density, well, first it's like, which is probably answering a lot of your upcoming questions, but this is how, this is how my brain, this is how my brain works. This is how my brain works. But you know, it's like, first it's like, I got to figure out what I want to do. What do I need to do? What kind of equipment do I need for that? Who are the people that, you know, are going to fit those needs, and where are they? And, you know, and then just build on that. And that's where the route density came from. I quickly was like, I can't drive all over Richmond because I can only get so much done. And the whole goal of me leaving retail was to get my time back, or try to, and try and regain my life. So by working from sun up to sundown, that's all great, but you know, there's got to be a means to an end there, because you know, like I was adamant not to work on weekends because I was working all the time in retail, so I didn't want to work on weekends if I didn't have to. But I was trickling into a lot of weekends because I couldn't get everything done during the week. And then I'm like, well, it's because I'm spreading myself too thin. I'm driving all over the place, doing anything and everything. Let me focus in on what I actually want to do. I love lawns. I love turf. Let me just focus on that. Let me work to get my fertilization, you know, license. I know how to mow lawns. That's all good. I got commercial equipment right off the bat, borrowed some money from a family member, paid them back the following year, and had, some good stuff. So I was able to take on anything and everything, but really just refined all that onto, just total turf care, mowing, fertilization, weed control, aeration and seeding, trim some shrubs throughout the year if people want that, freshen up their mulch, in the spring every year if they want that, some of those basics, but no real landscaping, no hardscaping, anything like that. Just really focused on the turf care. And I just grew that and then focused on certain neighborhoods that were all close together. The HOA cookie cutter neighborhoods, the homeowner associations, where there's 700 to 1,000 houses in each, of those HOAs. So you could just spend a whole day in there if you wanted to. And that's where I really excelled and grew all of my route density and just focused on that. And like I said, that was all 5-year plan. So the first 5 years was to figure that out and get to the point where I can hire employees and like, okay, how am I going to pay them? All this kind of stuff. And then build that out for another 5 years, get to a second crew and just keep doing that, rinse and repeat. My goal has always just been to be 2 or 3 crews of lawn maintenance. There might be a truck or two for some other stuff like fertilization, weed control, which is mainly me at this point. But with everything going on through the pandemic, that got a little crazy with trying to find people and keep people. So that kind of was a lot of ebb and flow. So I've just kind of been stuck at one crew for the last few years, just trying to hold strong with that, really getting rid of the, dissolving the bottom clients, bottom 20% and all that, and trying to keep everything strong, keep the loyal clients, keep refining my business, implementing credit cards on file, implementing, 12-month contracts, raising my prices, regularly every year for all these different, all these things that I've learned over the years from trial and error and listened to from social media, from my peers and mentors. I've been implementing in my business year after year as well. Just to keep being as profitable and as efficient as possible. So that's kind of where my whole lawn care journey started and is at this point.
That's awesome, man. Along the way, you also, you built a pretty impressive social media presence as well.
Thank you.
Lawn Care on YouTube and everything. You've got your podcasts.
LCR
plug that stuff, man.
Yeah.
but tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, that kind of came through right around the same time, because year one, and this is kind of like my bread and butter and where my passion is connecting and networking and community. Year one of starting my business, just inadvertently by doing research on Google, 9 years ago, Google was a lot better and there was a lot more information out there, and there was people on YouTube creating regular content that are still to this day. Some aren't, some are, and they're good friends of mine. But at that time, I didn't know who they were or anything. I just Googled certain things, like I was just trying to learn how to go from a homeowner to a professional, professional contractor. And I'm just trying to Google stuff like how to price this, how to price that. Someone messaged me on Facebook, can you give me a quote on pruning crepe myrtles? I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So I'm Googling, what's a crepe myrtle? How do you prune crepe myrtles? How do you price, hedge trimming and all this stuff. So there'd be all kinds of YouTube videos that would come up, right? Because Google and YouTube, Google owns YouTube. So they're all connected. So not only do you have the Google posts, but then if there's videos, images, it's going to recommend it. So I started stumbling upon some of these regular content creators on YouTube, and I was like, wow, this is cool. And then I see the same kind of people commenting, and I'm like, this is like, because before that, like I said earlier, people would just post stuff on YouTube and you'd like never hear from them again. But these guys were posting regularly, like every week or every couple of days or every day, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. This looks like a fun community to be a part of, and that they're all lawn care and landscape professionals like me. Like, this is awesome. So I just started following along within that first year, got a YouTube channel, or I got a YouTube account so I could like and follow and subscribe and all that stuff and comment and just kind of be a part of the community from behind the scenes while I was trying to, run my business for the first year. And I was learning a lot from them as well, because they were going through so some of them had been in the business for 20 years. Some of them were only a couple of years ahead of me. So I was still learning some of their things that they learned. But then there was still stuff that I was learning or needed to learn that nobody was talking about, because they were either so far beyond that, they kind of forgot about that, or they were just a couple of years ahead, and everyone's always kind of thinking about where they're at. So nobody was talking about where I was at. So I was like, well, you know what? I don't want to be behind the scenes anymore. I want to start creating my own content too. I think that's kind of fun, cool. fun fact, I went to school for art. I majored in fine arts in college. So I'm a very creative minded person.
Nice.
So I kind of think that's what attracted me to like, wow, making YouTube videos. It seems pretty, I never really would have thought of it if it wasn't for some of these guys early on that were creating content regularly, and they were just doing it on their phone. Or they had like a very inexpensive camera from Walmart or something. They didn't have like the big old expensive vlogging camera like Casey Neistat and all these folks. Of course, we all kind of evolved to that eventually, but just starting out, we were just using our cameras. Then eventually we got a GoPro, and we felt like we were like all big shots and stuff. And we all progressed, but it seemed attainable that I could just use my cell phone and just record some stuff of my setup without even me in it initially. And you kind of work your way up to stuff, and we all supported each other. And so I kind of converted everything from a YouTube account to an actual YouTube channel and started posting regular content, called it Lawn Care Rookie. So people clearly knew it was about lawn care. Hopefully it would come up in the searches because lawn care was in it. But I wanted it to be rookie because I was brand new, and I didn't want people to think that I was like the other guys with experience giving experience advice. I was just telling you how it is.
I'm a rookie, just so you know, right?
Yeah, I'm a rookie. I'm going to share what I've learned, what I've stumbled upon, what works, beautiful. What doesn't work, my failures, my successes, all that stuff. So that was kind of the whole premise. And it's really grown over the years into more of like me becoming one of the founding members of growing the community, fostering growth in our community, and just continuing to pioneer that with all kinds of events and different ways of creating content. Like podcasting is the newest thing that I've done, and then continuing with YouTube and Instagram and Facebook here and there. I'm on everything really, but TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, all that stuff. But the most common things that everyone always stays on: Instagram stays relevant all the time. Facebook stays relevant, and obviously YouTube is the Mac Daddy of them all. So I just stay focused on all of them. Yeah. And that's kind of where we've gotten to. I just keep trying to figure out ways to grow the community and connect people.
Yeah. What I like about that is I frequently, as a trainer, speak to a lot of businesses just starting out, and I'll get those questions like, how do I learn about route density or pricing this, or how do I price that, and market research. So like having Google, like I know when I was younger, I'm still young, but there wasn't there's free education online now. Like you had to look in books back in the day. So you can Google, and you literally go to school on YouTube. So resources like what you provide, and I know we have our Field Services Academy. It's great. But along with social media and technology, it can be very overwhelming if you're running a business, and that's already a full-time job. Social media can be a full-time job itself. So what would we kind of spoke about this earlier, what are techniques people can use to use it more effectively, efficiently with the little amount of time they may have?
Yeah, it's not easy for sure. Some other content creators will joke about, see these bags under my eyes, that's real deal stuff, but at the end of the day, because I did all that, I stayed up till 1, 2 in the morning editing a YouTube video so they could go out the next day. I would literally be standing in my office or on my kitchen counter so that I wouldn't fall asleep, because if I sat down, I would just be so tired, I'd start drifting off, and I lose my place for editing, and I'm really determined to finish the video. I've been through it, man, because this is before any brand even cared about anything. They thought we were a joke. The early days, 2015 was my first year at any trade show, and it was at GIE at the time, called GIE Plus Expo, and now called Equip. But my first year there, which was the second year for a lot of the folks that I first started watching on YouTube, but my first year of 2015, that people were putting cameras, trying to record stuff, and they're like, get that out of my face, get that out of our booth, like we're spies or something. And it was really frustrating. We were like the weirdos trying to vlog and make all this content, and then staying up late to edit it and put it out just for the love of the game, it was just, we just enjoyed connecting with each other. It was a great hobby. It was fun. It kind of, a lot of us, not necessarily me, because I was still so new, but a lot of the older folks that had been doing it for a while, it kind of re-energized them in the industry. Because, sometimes you get burned out just mowing lawns all day, every day for 10, 15, 20 years, or, whatever other stuff they might be doing along with that. And then when you all of a sudden add hey, now I'm vlogging my day, or I'm doing equipment reviews, and I'm connecting with other guys that are not just in my area, but all across the country and sometimes the world, it really sparks a new energy. And then you go to a live event, it's a whole another level of energy and all that. So, we were doing it for that, right? And now, you fast forward, 8 years from then, and people are paying us to go to their booth to record a video or do a product review or something. It's totally different, complete 180. But so we were doing it for the love of the game. Now we're still doing it for the love of the game, but there's a little more incentives with it. But now I think we've learned a lot the hard way, and I think it really comes down to you as a person. Like, are you a very operationally structured person where you can like block your time, prioritize, or are you a fly by the seat of the pants, wing it, stay up late, do whatever it takes, whenever it takes? Do you have a family? Are you single? Like, all these things are variables, as to how your day needs to be structured and prioritized. But at the end of the day, when you're creating content for your business, it's a lot easier. Like, if you have a legitimate business that you are out there cutting grass or doing landscaping or hardscaping every day, or if you're the owner, I'm sure a lot of us listening, or all of us are owners, but if you have a crew and you're out of the truck, meaning owner, where you're working more on the business than in the business, and you're not necessarily there day to day, you can still go and get the content that you need to promote your business, whether you're just doing it for fun, peer to peer, or you're doing, for customer, business to customer, and you're just trying to promote your business. You can still do it while you're there. Like I say, whether you're the one actually doing the work or you're going to check on your guys, you can record, take pictures before and after. And it takes a little bit of training, a little bit of conditioning for you, because so many times I would take the after pictures and forget about the before, or like I would think about taking the after. I'm like, oh man, I forgot to take the before, or vice versa, like you got to do both, so, you kind of condition yourself by default when you're a content creator and you're regularly creating content as kind of a hobby, /slash job in some cases, or another business, career, whatever. It becomes more routine. But for those that are just starting out, or they solely just want to do it for their business, that's what you have to do. You have to be intentional. You have to plan it out. Just like when you're planning your schedule for the day. Okay, these are the jobs that I'm doing. Okay, I want to take before and after. Make notes on a piece of paper, in your phone, your CRM, whatever. Insert wherever you're keeping track of this stuff, so you know what you're doing when, your calendar app, whatever. We've all been there, right? So you start somewhere and just make notes. Like, I want to take pictures of this. I want to take a video I want to talk about that. This problem happened, this solution. Again, that's something that maybe you can put on your website for customers to see, like, oh wow, they're really responsive, or oh, look at this tip that they provided, or oh, look at these before and afters. And that's just a good way to promote your business, because otherwise no one's going to know who the heck you are and what you provide, unless they're like neighbors, they're driving down the street, or they're whatever. But that you got to take those photos, those videos. I did that from day one, before I was like a content creator, like before I created a YouTube channel. My wife was adamant. She was like, hey, you need to, because I wasn't even on Facebook. My wife was on Facebook since day one, just like all the other housewives, right? Playing Farmville and all that. Shout out to the OGs of Facebook.
That is old school. That is real old school.
Yeah. So she knew all about it though. And she was like, you need to create a business page on Facebook. I'll help you. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know what you're talking about. But so from day one, I had it before, that was the only way to market and advertise my business, was a free business Facebook page. And you got to fill that up with photos and videos and posts. And I was doing events on there in my local neighborhood, and advertising it for my personal page, sharing my business page on the Facebook, and asking other people to do it in other neighborhoods. And that's how I grew really quickly, was through Facebook. But you got to train yourself to take those pictures, and potentially videos. You don't have to be in the video. You don't have to be a bona fide content creator if you're not comfortable with that. You can just, point, or just show, we're going to take care of all these bushes, and they're all crazy and overgrown looking. Like, this customer called us. They want us to, they just moved in. They want us to get everything fixed up. We told them we're going to have it looking brand new. And then you show the after. And we're all done. Took us however much, whatever you want to, however you want to, script it out, and people will just be like, just the before and after. People will be blown away. Video definitely is, photos are one thing, but there's something about video. That's why YouTube is the king, because video, there's nothing like it. You can just really see and show a lot more with video than just photo.
I feel like a lot of people get overwhelmed when it comes to video, but like the barrier at entry to that stuff is so low now. Like everyone has a phone in their pocket that has like a pretty good camera on it, right?
Yeah.
So
that's how I started. Before
pull out your phone
I
and just
started my
record
YouTube
something.
channel with just my cell phone. So I mean, it's you just use your cell phone. You can upload it directly to Facebook. On the Facebook, you can actually just be in Facebook and click on video. Just upload a post on Facebook and click whatever you want: video, post, picture. Do you want to upload a picture or take a picture? Upload a video or record the video. It's right there, and you can stop and restart if you messed up the video or you stumbled over your words. It's very easy, though I know it's intimidating. I've been there, done that. But when you're starting without you on the camera, sometimes that's helpful because you're not like looking at yourself and feeling awkward. If you are, you can have your sunglasses on in the beginning, but then take them off to connect with people. Like, there's so many different levels, but day one, level one, rookie for life, just pull out your cell phone, go on your Facebook app, your business Facebook page. If you don't, hopefully you have one. Or if you're just going to upload it to your website or something, just take the picture on your phone or record the video on your phone, and then you can upload it to your website, or if you have someone doing your website for you, if you're all into that, then you can send that information to them and they could take care of it for you. But I didn't have any of that. I was just bootstrapping from day one, and I just took a picture and posted on Facebook, record a video, post it on Facebook.
I feel like sometimes that's kind of the hardest part is like just clicking the go live button or like the record button. Like just click the button and like the hump is over. Now it's easy.
You're in it. Yeah.
It feels awkward at first, but it does
start with pictures. Start with pictures if you're that intimidated. At least get something up there. Everyone does pictures, but then if you really want to separate yourself, move into video, because that's where you can really engage with people for sure. So
for sure. I think I know the answer because you've alluded to it. But of the different social media platforms, when it comes to building an online presence with social media, which platforms do you think are the most important?
Definitely Facebook. I know a lot of folks that do stuff on Instagram. I've never promoted my business on Instagram to know firsthand, but I know a lot of folks do, and they're successful with that. Facebook owns Instagram, so it's your great next best bet. But Facebook has a Facebook business page and so many other things that are Facebook originals that Instagram hasn't integrated. Let's try to combine some things. They haven't integrated that part, so you still need Facebook you need both to use both, but Facebook has their Facebook business page, and if you do that, it's like another version of your website. It's just that you don't have full control over it. Facebook does, and you got to boost this and that and blah 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 to get the full value out of it. But it's still it's another great SEO, another way to get search engine optimization by having a Facebook page. Google My Business is another thing. Google My Business is obviously nothing like Facebook or Instagram, but Google's doing their best at layering things in. I mean, it's been around. Google My Business has been around since I started my business, and they've come a long way since then. Everything is all integrated now into one app. Like I can just go to Google Maps and then just click on the next tab, and there's messages. If people are Googling lawn care or Googling clean cut lawn care, and they see my face, all the things. But if they click on the Google My Business, they can message me or call me or both. And then you get all the analytics every month from Google, from your Google My Business page. And I would just like make scheduled posts, like scheduled in my brain and my calendar, like not where you could do it on the app, but scheduled where I would just sit down and I would post the same post on Facebook and Google My Business. So this way I got them both done, boom, and every time you do that, you spike the algorithm, you keep keeping yourself up to the top organically you can also pay to boost all that stuff, but organically, if you just keep posting new videos, new posts, anything of that sort, getting new reviews on Google My Business and Facebook, then you're good. You're going to stay up at the top. Just those two right there. And then, of course, if you have a website, but even if you just start out and not really sure, you can't afford that or whatever, you can do Google My Business for free and Facebook for free, and then get your business page for free. And then you could just, really start promoting your business that way and get yourself, just keep posting and stay up at the top in your area. And that's, I have huge SEO. That's in a whole nother topic for maybe another day, but that's a whole nother thing. I just have every time people either see me in the neighborhood and they're like, oh, I see your trucks everywhere, and I only have one truck because we're just always in the neighborhoods all week because of the route density. You know, we can't get everything done in one day. We have over 20 yards in every single HOA that we're in. That's really a scramble to try and get all that done in one day, especially when it gets to be 100 degrees in August here. So people just see me everywhere, see us everywhere. So there's that. And then whenever they Google, because they saw us or they're just looking for lawn care, then they just go online and they see all of the different things. When you Google clean cut lawn care, or you Google lawn care in Midlothian or lawn care in Richmond or wherever, insert the town in this area, I'm one of the top ones that come up because I have so many different things to keep me at the top for SEO. And again, I think this is off air. I mentioned this. I follow the trends. Google My Business wants you to do certain things, so I did them all. Like do this, do that. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Send an email out. Service Autopilot's great about having all these different ways that you can communicate with your clients. And I just got the link for the Google My Business review, got the link for my Facebook business page review, and just email that out to all, click all your clients, insert document that you created with your, please, thank you for your, all your fun stuff. Thank you for being a client. If you're happy with our service, we'd love for you to take a minute and do this review. Easily click on the link, boom. And you just get a ton of reviews. And then bam, you just spike back up at the top of the SEO again. So I just listen and take action, and it works. And it's all free. Of course, you can pay for more stuff, but you can at least start off for free.
Yes. And thank you for plugging our bulk emailing capabilities and automations. You can automate all of that too. And Service Autopilot, by the way.
Oh man.
I had to slide it in there sooner or later.
Absolutely. So that's the second. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
So I was gonna say, you just spouted off a ton of stuff that people can do, right? Now, if you're not already in the weeds doing that, and like that can feel very overwhelming, do you feel like it's necessary to have a social media specialist to get started with these things?
It's not necessary.
Because I'm going to say maybe not necessary. Yeah. Go ahead.
Right. No, it's not necessary, but it's definitely helpful. And but I really think that, again, it's back to, how do you find the time to do everything? Like it has to be like your personality type and your lifestyle, and what do you have time for? Do you have a family or don't you? Do you have all the time in the world or don't you? Are you a type A personality where you can never stop? Or are you someone like me that has to like take a time out and recharge your batteries and kind of be in a padded room like this, just kind of, be in silence and kind of regain your composure? Like you got to know, are you a gambler or are you not? Like, are you a risk taker or are you not? Like, you got to know yourself and then go from there. But if you're starting from scratch, most people are really like trying to budget as much as possible. And unless that social media person is their spouse or significant others or someone that's kind of just helping them out, in the interim, like for free or something, it's really intimidating to have someone to do that for you unless you desperately need it, because some people really are just super antiquated with all that, and they're just really more in the field folks than behind the scenes folks, and they just have, they need a bookkeeper, they need this, they need that, they just really they need a CRM obviously to keep things organized. Like, those things are hard to swallow financially right out the gate, so you kind of have to build on those. But so I say all that to answer that I think eventually everyone gets to the point where they can and need to afford to have someone do different things, bookkeeping, answer phones. That might be all the same person, handle certain things have an office and have someone to handle things at the office, including social media stuff like that. A lot of guys in my area that I know, and some other folks on social media, as they grow bigger and they get closer and closer to that $1 million mark, if that's their goal, and they have, many crews and doing a lot of stuff, and they're out of the trucks and they're working on the vision and building the business from the outside, they have different people in place, like someone to do social media. That might just be one person, or that's someone that's doing multiple duties until they get even bigger, and so on. So I think right out the gate, if that's something that you as that owner has to figure out, if that's something that you desperately need to do because it won't get done otherwise. And then maybe you can find a friend or a sibling, or whatever, a spouse, all the above. There's a lot of people that can help without hiring necessarily a specialist right out the gate. But if you can, and you need to, absolutely, that's going to help. But I don't think you need to do that. Sometimes you might just have to really grind it out and figure it out. Like, I would love to have a YouTube editor, but I'm just grinding it out. I mean, I kind of enjoy editing the videos, but it would definitely make it easier for me to get them done more consistently if I had an editor to do it. But that's a whole nother ball game. It's an added expense, and finding the right person that knows what you want and communicates and all that. That's a whole nother thing. So you just kind of make those steps, those plans. What do you need to do, what want to do, and can afford to do.
Sweet.
So, question about business owners looking to grow their business the next level, grow their brand and things like that. You kind of mentioned things you do, people notice you out and about, with, I'm sure maybe you have certain shirts or wrapping on your truck, your vehicle, things like that. So what are things they can do? Any equipment they can get if they're starting out? What are some upgrades they can do, or just any things that you would recommend for any business owner at any level?
Yeah, I would say branding at every level. But from day one, no matter whether it was a magnet on the side of my truck, all the way to having everything lettered up and official shirts and all that. But from day one, the winter that I quit retail and was doing whatever I could to prepare for the spring and hit the ground running, which I did with over 30 regular lawns to mow. And, I was just hitting the ground running right out the gate because I did so much research in the 2 months in the wintertime where there wasn't much to do. And I was just doing kind of miscellaneous things and focusing on getting my name out there. But, I got a business. Well, I figured out the name, got a logo, got a business license, got business cards, try to get some shirts, which was not this. It was like a different, it was like a yellow shirt with the green logo. I was trying to stand out. And so that's kind of evolved, yellow to then green with a white logo. And now it's the gray with the green logo, which is basically from here on out. I've had this for many years now. I just like the look, the contrast of dark gray with the apple green pop and the logo on the back of the shirts and all that. And everybody, but from day one by myself, I always had my work shirt that was clean as it could be. I had to order new ones occasionally, right? I mean, we're out there working, of course, so we're going to get a little bit dirty, but I would have a brand new crispy hat and a nice clean shirt in the back. So if I was doing quotes, I would throw those on real quick so I looked halfway more put together, like I was the owner. Like I had a polo that I would throw on, and I put my hat on, and I'd go and, how you doing? I'm the owner and all that stuff, instead of my grass stained shirt or whatnot. Not to say you have to do any of that, but I'm just saying from day one, my mentality was branding, image. I want to separate myself from Chuck in the truck. Sorry, Chuck, I know you're a good guy and you have good intentions, but there's a lot of progress that you could make, Chuck. You're leaving a lot of stuff on the table there. We
That's
want
what
to
we're
lift
here for.
Yeah. We want to lift everybody up. We want to, raise the market value. We want to get bigger and better and all that stuff, better image for this industry and all that. So from day one, I was like, man, I am not going to be that stereotype that we all know, and I won't go into, but I want to be above that. I want to be better than that. I want to be the people, the person that attracts the higher end clients that are going to pay me more and appreciate the value and all that stuff. I'm not going to be dealing with all the crazy yards and the crazy people and all that stuff, though I did in the beginning because I was just trying to do everything. And then I realized that's not the way. And I just built that professional image. But from day one, it's all about branding, the shirts, the business cards, the logos, it all matches, and then when I advertise over the years, I've got my postcard that looks one side of the postcard, it looks just like my trailer, white with the big green logo on it. And the other side has all the contact information with a picture of one of the lawns that we take care of, different info, contact info, all that. And pop them off, but I don't mail them. I cherry pick the neighborhoods and the houses in the neighborhoods that I want to take care of. And we either do a door hanger or the mailbox underneath. There's a flyer box, a newspaper box underneath the mailbox. That's fair game. That's not illegal. We're not touching the mailbox itself. We're just touching the little magazine box underneath. You pop the postcards in there. You typically see a lot of business cards like housekeeping and all the folks in there, tree care, all that stuff, throwing all their cards in there. I've got my nice postcard in there so people can see. So that matches. And, there's, I'm not a marketing expert, anymore. I don't remember all these things, but, like there's X amount of touches, that you're supposed to have before people like remember you and resonate with you. So it's like, okay, I got the postcard, I got the Facebook posts, I got my trailer rolling through, I got my shirts, got my business cards, all these different things, SEO, all the stuff, trying to make sure that I'm out there as much as possible. So people just constantly see Clean Cut Lawn Care, Clean Cut Lawn Care, Clean Cut Lawn Care.
Strategy to
I
all
got this in the mail from Clean Cut Lawn Care. Yeah. So
I think it's is it 7 touches?
I think so, right?
7
Something
sounds
like that.
right. 7 feels right. Don't quote me on that,
it does. Yeah. But
also not a marketing expert.
Right. But something along those lines. Yeah. So you just got to keep it up. So from day one, a magnet is pretty inexpensive. Some shirts, like online are pretty inexpensive. Now I have a local place that I get all my shirts. Also pretty inexpensive because I get them in bulk and all this stuff. And I've got a good relationship with them. Been doing it for eight years or whatever. But first starting out, it was like, some random website that I had them, upload my logo and just ship us some shirts for not the most inexpensive, but it wasn't terrible either. And so you figure these things out and you work your way up, but you can always start somewhere and then just start with the basics. I even got the whole DIY postcard where you go to an office supply store and you get your business card paper and you stick it in your printer and you print all your business card with the perforate and you rip all the perforate and you got your little stack. I mean, we all got to start somewhere, right?
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Now I got the fancy business cards, like the nice thick card stock and all that, double-sided. And every now and again I catch somebody at, I just catch like another fellow lawn care landscaper somewhere, either at the gas station or at the equipment dealer, and we exchange cars and they're like, oh, this is legit. I got to get a 2-sided one, or like, hey man, look, did you, telling their friend, look at, this is what I was telling you. Look at how his card is like, but that evolves over time. You learn these things by trial and error. I see someone else doing it or, like in person, like at that interaction or social media, all the above. So, but anyone can start anywhere with the simplest thing, but branding is key because it will get your name out there. People will remember you and you will become synonymous. So now it's to the point where when people ask for a recommendation on Facebook in these neighborhoods, so many people recommend me that it's kind of peer pressure for that person compared to the 1 or 2 other companies that get recommended once or twice. And especially when we pull up to a cul-de-sac and we do all the houses but one, that poor person just feels really isolated and they just have to jump on the bandwagon and keep up with the Joneses. You see them out there with their electric push mower and they're like, and we're like, and we're done in like 10 minutes,
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm just like, waving my business card, toss it in the box, like, hey, give us a call. And that's happened before. There have been people that, man, I've seen you for years. I think it was time to give you a call. And like, hey, there you go. I mean, that happens regularly, actually. So, but it all starts with branding. People watch you and they pay attention, how you look. One last quick story. I had my newest client, my 8th one on a street. Like this street is epic. We joked it's like the street of dreams because we just pull up and we're just there for like hours, just knocking them out, bang, bang, bang. And then we skip a house and then bang, bang, bang the next ones. And bored John over here just keeps hacking down his yard every couple of weeks, but for whatever reason doesn't want to call us. But the newest one on that street, man. The 8th one, I was like, hey, thank you for calling me, but why? Can I ask what made you pick us? Because for one, there's the other company that is recommended in that neighborhood mows his next door 2 house neighbors' yards on the other side. We do the whole rest of the street that's on one side of his house, and then the other side, the last 2 on that street are some other company, which they're decent folks. I know the owner and all that. And he was like, honestly, because they scare me. I'm afraid they're going to tear my yard apart. They're just flying through that yard, ripping through it. I'm afraid they're going to destroy my yard. So I just, I've seen you for years. You guys do a really good job. You take care of like half the street, like one whole side of the street, like, and then one on the other side, like you just knock them out. So we figure we give you a call. So that's just all to branding, doing a good job, making people remember you, and then sooner or later they're going to give you a call if they need help with something.
It's presence.
Yeah. So there you go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Naylor, for being a guest on the Profit Roadmap podcast. And any closing thoughts, or if people want to find you, want to learn more about LCR Media, Lawn Care Rookie, your YouTube, where can they find you?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm, like I alluded to earlier, I'm on everything. So if you just Googled Lawn Care Rookie, which is what LCR stands for, or LCR, you're going to find everything, which is YouTube mainly, Instagram. Those are, I'm on everything, but YouTube and Instagram I'm regularly posting stuff. I have the podcast, LCR Media podcast. So those three things, you can stay connected with me and what I have going on and what's going on in the community. LCR Media, I created specifically so that I could keep creating networking events. The very first one that I did that Service Autopilot is still a part of to this day, the rally, it was a meetup that was very small in its infancy back in 2014. And I kind of took the leadership role in 2016, basically, and have grown it since then. It's 600 folks strong from the community that go down to now the Equip Expo every year, Thursday night at 6 p.m. But everyone goes and hangs out. They get free food, cash bar, tons of networking opportunities, tons of giveaways from all the different brands that are involved, all kinds of exciting things. A great time to recap the first main day of Equip. And that kind of really stemmed a lot of other things. But I created LCR Media so that I could specifically run that event and have all the finances run through there and keep it separated from my lawn care business. And it's just grown from there. I mean, there's all kinds of different revenue streams from different social media platforms, as well as all the other networking events that I do. And all that stuff I talk about all the time. On those things, my podcast, LCR Media Podcast, my Instagram at Lawn Care Rookie and LCR Media, and my YouTube channel, Lawn Care Rookie. But again, LCR will bring you to all that stuff. There is a Facebook page that is very specific to Equip Expo. It's called Road to Equip. If you go on Facebook and just type in Road to, it's probably going to come up because there's almost 3,000 people on there now just for Equip. That's a lot of people that are obsessed with Equip. Yeah. It's a lot of people from all over the world, mind you, all over the world.
Wow.
Like I met a good friend of mine from Ireland that I've known since 2014 because of social media. I met him for the first time in 2019 prior to COVID. He had a company that was going international, flew him from Ireland. He'd been wanting to come out, but as you can imagine, it's pretty expensive, a lot of time commitment. They're like, yesterday, like their time is way out there, so so they flew him out. They flew him out, all expenses paid. He just had to hang out in their booth a couple times and be an influencer for them and bring folks to the booth. But so I got to meet him and hang out with him for the first time in person. But he's in the group as well as so many other people from all over the world, Canada, everywhere, Australia, Ireland, UK. They're all on there, and of course United States strong. They want to go to Equip. They did go. They will go. They're gonna go. They're just living vicariously through us because they can't go because they're in another part of the country or world. But it's almost 3,000 people strong. And if you want to know what's going on for Equip, it's all in there. Even Equip themselves many years ago have been a part of it. It's amazing. No offense to them, but more people are engaged in Equip in that group than in Equip's group. So they're like in there answering questions because people comment, awesome, what about this? What about that? Yeah. And then they go on there and they answer the questions, which is amazing. It's exactly what I wanted to create, was a one-stop shop to streamline all of the events, all of hey, where is this content creator going to be? Where is this person going to be? And, blah, 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 blah. And because everyone would be posting stuff on their own social media, and it got really confusing. And I just wanted it to be one streamlined thing. Here, this is where the rally is going to be. There's tons of meetups now that have spawned from other content creators throughout that whole week. and it's all there. So all the events are listed as they come up. We pin them to the top in the announcements, and there's tons of posts. So if you want to be engaged and a part of the community for Equip specifically coming up in October, go to Road to Equip, Road to Equip, and then you'll be able to engage with everything and be a part of all that. So that's kind of where all my info is for everything.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we'll make sure that all that stuff is linked in the show notes as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man.
And thank you everyone for listening to the Profit Roadmap today. And remember, you can listen to this show on all major streaming platforms, including Apple, YouTube, and Spotify, and much more. Be sure to visit our show notes at serviceautopilot.com/podcast to get this link to all the topics we discussed on today's show. And then lastly, if you have any questions, great recommendations, or if you want to be on the show yourself, email us at profitroadmap@exploretechnologies.com. Explore is spelled XPLOR, by the way. If you enjoyed today's show, please tell a friend. And yeah, thank you all, everybody. Just thanks for listening in.
Yeah, Naylor, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for giving us your time.
Thank you for having me. It was a good time.
Anytime, guys. All right, y'all take it easy.